Hey YouTube, welcome back to another episode in the Catering for a Crowd at Home series that I'm currently in the middle of. If you're following all of these, I'll post a link to the playlist up here, but we have a Christmas party here every year and we have anywhere from 50 to 65 people, and for the most part all of the food gets made in this kitchen beforehand. Today I'm doing something out of my favorite book. This poor book is so tattered at this point, but this is my, I don't know if you can see it. I'll put a link to this somewhere down in the description. This is Hors d'oeuvres, simple, stylish, seasonal, and I love this book so much. And this particular recipe is a huge hit. This is my quesadillas, but they're not just any quesadilla. Let me see if I can get to the rattiest page in the book where I've used this so many times. This is smoked chicken with jalapeno jack quesadillas with chipotle sauce, and they are delicious. They're not your average quesadilla. So I'm going to put the book there. I already have all the ingredients kind of lined out. There's not a lot here to do. So I'm just going to show you how we mix it up. This is one of the things that you can make ahead though. I usually make this recipe, looking at my notes, I have that I've made it times 5 in the past, and it made 58 ounces of filling. It's kind of crazy to try to do this, but this, I'm just making a double batch. I'm going to scale it down and see what a double batch does. And I'm going to try it 2 different ways. So you will need, I have 8-inch tortillas. The recipe calls for 6-inch. I just like the bigger ones. And I'm going to try their instructions from the book, say to cut little 2-inch, like little rounds, individual bite size. And I have never done that in all the years I've done this party. I've never done this because this is too time consuming and I do not have time. So I usually just take 2 tortillas and put filling on them, stack them, throw them in the oven, and then when they come out, we run a pizza cutter over them and make triangles and throw them out on the table. It's too crazy in that last hour to be fiddling with individually stacking, but I'm going to try it in the interest of how does it look. I bet it's really cute. All you will need, besides the tortillas, this is a double batch, so I have 8 ounces of cooked chicken, and this is not smoked chicken because I don't have smoked chicken. I just use regular chicken, but I might cheat. I thought I might cheat and add a little smoke. What do you think? If we add a couple drops of liquid smoke, would that be like smoked chicken? Cheat. I have 1 good sized tomato diced up really small because you're going to mix it in with the mix inside the quesadillas, and 8 ounces of jalapeno jack cheese. And you can already see you could have fun with any kind of meat and cheese here. You can do this with any kind of meat and cheese. And then I just have some garlic, onion powder because I'm not a fan of onion. I'm sorry. Most of my cooking, if you see me cook, there won't be any onion. I don't eat it. I don't like onion. I mean, I'll make it for everyone else, but I love onion powder, and then just salt and pepper. So you've got chicken, tomato, cheese, garlic, onion, salt, pepper. And we're going to put it all in the food processor, except the tomatoes. We're going to put the chicken and cheese in, pulse it, and then take it out and fold in the tomatoes. And that will be the filling. And I have a lemonade because it's late and I'm tired. May or may not be just lemon. Wink. So I'm just going to add the chicken in and give it a little bit of a pulse just to shred it before we add the cheese. It says it's supposed to be shredded chicken, so I figured I would just kind of do that and give it a shred. This is really pretty simple. And then what I'm going to do next, I think, is just do the salt and pepper. This is really the way I've done this every year. And I am going to put the tomatoes in before this goes in the freezer, because I know how that works, and I know that it works. And I know at the party, I need all the spare moments I can get, and I don't have time to be fiddling around with, oh no, I forgot to add the tomato to the chicken. It just needs to already be in there. So I'm going to pulse the salt, pepper. This is salt, pepper, garlic, onion in there, just to kind of combine it. And then we're going to put in the cheese. And you want to make sure you're putting that chicken in cold, like it needs. I cooked it just tonight, but I cooled it down entirely so that you don't want this cheese to melt right now. You want it to just kind of shred together and be combined. So you've got 8 ounces of chicken and basically 1-to-1 ratio of chicken to cheese. So there's the chicken with all the spices and the cheese. And we're just going to pulse that together just until it's combined. And that is pretty much all there is to it. All right, so we've got the beautiful spiced pepper jack, cheese, and chicken blended together, and that looks like a really nice blend. And I'm just going to add the tomatoes just like that. Say if you have a lot of time, you could do this and just add the tomato at the last minute before you fill these. with the defrosted filling, which is a great idea, but Aunt Steph is kind of lazy and we're going to stick with what we know, and this is what I've always done and it's always worked. And then here is our tray with these, and I really am leaning towards I don't think that I would ever in my wildest dreams cut out enough of these to make 65 people happy. So we're probably going to roll with this. Picture this being 2 complete rounds, because that's what I would do, and then cut them, you know, like pizza style. You just cut them into little triangles and they're wonderful. But the recipe calls for the little rounds, and actually the recipe calls for smaller rounds than this with 1 teaspoon of filling, and I'm doing, these are 2.5-inch rounds. So I'm going to do, let's try 2 teaspoons of filling and just see what happens, since I've literally never, you're watching this first, I've never done this with the rounds. So does it work? We don't know. You'll get to see it firsthand. Well, it'll just be a surprise for both of us. How about that? And if you're, you know, if you're cooking for a crowd, you can wear gloves. I'm cooking for myself. I'm the only one here tonight, so I am not wearing gloves because I don't care if I wear gloves. But you know, like towards the end, if I'm handling especially meat or anything where there's raw food involved, yeah, you know, gloves are good. I have them. I'm just not putting them on for this video because I don't think they're pretty. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Just 2 teaspoons on a 2.5-inch round. And then I'm just going to top that with the other half and kind of press it like that. And then these, in the past, we've always just filled them literally the last minute on the day of the party, and we're always in panic. We're in panic mode. The last hour, I'll probably try to have somebody run. Maybe I'll just set up a camera on a tripod and just live stream the whole crazy fiasco of that last hour. It's my brother and me and my kids and my son-in-laws and my husband and my sister-in-law and my nephews. Like whoever shows up early gets pulled into service, and I'm still like, whoa, I haven't put on makeup yet and people are going to be here in a half an hour. It's always, you think you have everything together until that last minute, and then there's just the last hour. Anytime you're catering for a crowd, the last hour is just complete chaos, panic, pandemonium, and then it all works out and everybody shows up and it's amazing. Okay, so I learned last year, listen to your Aunt Steph, I learned last year, if you put this filling too thick, which I did, and you bake it like this and then cut it with the pizza cutter, it's way too thick. And you'll get, the filling will spill out because it literally you can't deal with it. It's too thick. Like this is even fairly thick, but I'm just going to press that pretty well. I'm taking a lot more time than we do when we're flying through these on the night, because we're doing trays with 3 on a tray and they're all going in the oven really quick, and we're just like, go, 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 get them out, and you know, so I'm taking time. So I'm gonna do I'm having dinner. We're doing random kitchen things and I'm making dinner that I can actually have, although I never eat. I do not eat, I won't even tell you. Anyway, I never eat carbs. So, but I can't waste these. So I guess I'm having carbs, but I'm only having a few. And I think if you're sleep deprived, don't carbs not matter? Is that a thing? Somebody tell me that's a thing. Chime in if carbs don't matter if you're tired. Okay, and I'm just gonna separate those out a little bit. We're gonna put those in the oven. I have the oven already heated up to 400 degrees. These are going in a 400-degree oven for about 5 minutes, just until the cheese melts. While those are in the oven, you can put together this little bit of sauce, and this is what makes them amazing. I've put it in another jar because I had it from another project, but this is some adobo sauce and chipotle peppers. And the recipe calls for a whole chipotle pepper to be blended up into a half of a cup of mayonnaise, and that is insanely too much for me. I am such a wuss about hot things. So this is really cool because you can adjust this to make it as hot or not as you want. And I like it not very hot, not very hot, not very hot. So I'm gonna just put, and start light, because you can always make it, you know, hotter, but you can't make it not as hot unless you add a lot more mayo. And so I'm just gonna start with like literally a drop. This stuff is, to me, this sauce is so hot. But it's nice because if you're hosting and you have a party of people who like hot things, you can adjust the heat accordingly. And there you have it. Here is the sauce finished. And of course for the party, I'm gonna make this, the party's on Saturday, I'll probably make this like Tuesday night and set it aside, and I'll be making a bigger batch than that. And then these I'm gonna make, oh gosh, probably 10 tortillas worth, and then we'll run them through the oven and divide them up. And then I don't sauce them like this for the party. I actually just put the sauce out and let people do this themselves. But I'm gonna have this for dinner tonight because it looks amazing. This is so good. And again, you can make the sauces hot or not as you like, just by adjusting the amount of chipotle in the mayonnaise. I hope this inspires you to try this. It's actually pretty quick. Like, you can whiz this stuff together and put these in the oven and bake them for 5 minutes, and you have a really nice quick treat. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.